No.
You'll get back on the show, I promise.
You're in the void.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Let's get some more. Have it in. Some more. Let's get some more.
Well, hello, and welcome to my Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. I want to thank every single one of you out there in the chat who got here on time. We appreciate it. Dave, Oscar, I see Kevin's out there. I see Renita's out there, and a few other people. Thank you so much for being on time. Ooh, John even snuck in too. Ooh, we have something special coming on with John here in a little bit, but we will keep that a secret because tonight we are talking with Kelley Tennille from Hartfield Distillery and Company. Excuse me, I'm choking on stuff.
You okay, buddy?
No, I'm not. You guys had me laughing so much before we started the show. I don't know where this is going to go, but I really, really like it.
Got you gagging already.
It does. So
Like mac and cheese.
thank you so much for being on, Kelley. We really appreciate you taking time out of your life to spend some time with us. Everyone in the chat, I want to know what you're drinking, and we are going to start with some of your white whiskey that is totally clear. But what, Ben? I thought you were going to start taunting me already.
White whiskey that's totally clear.
It
Okay.
is. Well, I've seen
Almost
some
as
that.
I
clear.
would expect nothing less.
Almost as clear as Coors Light.
There you go.
I'm gonna fight you. By the way, of course.
That's right. We're looking for a little sponsorship there. You know, you can always make that happen, Coors. Oh, all right.
It's always time for the silver bullet.
Email me. How do you call my people?
So, Kelley, what were you doing before you decided to become a distiller or start going down that path?
All sorts of stuff. So for several years, I was what's called an eternal colonel, meaning that I went to Eastern Kentucky University, and their mascot is the Colonels. So people who go to EKU and can't decide what they want to do with their lives just keep going to EKU. You just keep going to college, and eventually you're called an eternal colonel. Okay. So eventually, after I went in for an English degree, I decided to go in for creative writing with a focus in journalism. So I got that degree, became a journalist for a little while I went to graduate school at the Bluegrass Writers Studio. So I became a candidate for my graduate degree and decided that I hated writing, I hated journalism for reasons that I won't go into here. That's a whole other man. So I quit doing that and I got into an AmeriCorps position. Between all that, I served and bartended in the service industry from the time I was 17 until the time that I was 31. I was working at a domestic violence shelter in Richmond, Kentucky when I hired on at Hartfield on the weekends. And that was within my AmeriCorps position. I was a caseworker at the DV shelter, DV being short for domestic violence. Because AmeriCorps doesn't actually pay people a living wage, you get about $5.15 an hour. I was really short for money, and I thought, well, Pritchard and Bale, which was Hartfield and Company's cocktail bar, was hiring on the weekends for a bartender. So I applied, got the position, and started bartending there on the weekends. So the AmeriCorps gig really fell through. I was very unhappy. One of my clients actually, this is a bummer, but one of my clients actually passed away because of substance abuse problems. So I quit and went and worked in a cornfield for a summer, detasseling corn. And when I came back, Andrew, one of the founders of Hartfield and Company, along with his wife, Larissa, offered me a position mashing. And since then, I've just kind of gone up and up and up and up and up. And now here I am. So, you are right. I got tired of working social work and now I make booze, which is also a form of social work, I think.
I would tend to agree. Yeah. We've had that talk with a few other people. Even Donald was on the show last week, kind of works in that field as well too. And sometimes it's a nice break from life. just to reset things.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to bartending, and all of the regulars that were at Pritchard and Bale were phenomenal. And for a number of years, I had ended up casually working in Paris, where Hartfield Company is, and I would go into the bar and get hammered. And Andrew, who is now my boss, was the bartender.
Hey, that makes you feel good when
he's accused. So
when the owner is the one serving you and knows all the stories in the past, that's always a good thing. Oh, yeah. Alan clearly thinks that the sky, huh?
He's like, oh, there's that girl. She'll be fun to have.
She has a good time when she's here. We like that.
I did. I'm a fun drunk.
All right. Alan was just saying that the sky is the limit for you. Let me see here.
Aww.
Oh, and John was saying distilling is definitely social work of a sort.
Thanks,
definitely. All right, sir.
Somebody said, yeah, Kelley. Yeah, you too, honey. Yeah, you.
I finally got somebody on here that's got as big a Southern accent as I do, so this is great.
Where are you from?
I'm in South Carolina.
Wicked.
Nice.
Wicked. A friend of mine lives in Charleston. She went to American College of the Building Arts, and now she's a historical carpenter down there because, the hurricanes hit every couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
To rebuild everything to historic codes. So that's what Katie Bell does. I've got a good friend in Charleston. Yeah, I like South Carolina a lot. I've got very sunburnt there. Got alcohol poisoning there too.
I'm sure. I've done both.
Surprise.
More than a few times.
I think we need to hear both of those stories.
Maybe off the live stream.
That's later, Mike. Now, where do you guys get the grains that you guys use for the product that you guys are putting out?
So all of our corn is from Kentucky. And all of our corn is ground at the Highlander Feed Company. Highlander Feed has been around longer than you and me and all our papaws. And one of the cool things about Highlander is that they still manually grind all of their grains. What's so funny?
Andrew said you're a great drunk friend.
Get out of here! Get out! He just said something on my Facebook too. Andrew, get out of here. Like, close your Facebook. Oh God. Okay. Andrew!
Damn it, Andrew! Stop interrupting the interview.
What's that old crow?
He does.
What's that old crow? We're gonna win you that old crow.
Yeah, Andrew unfortunately thought he won the old crow on Friday when we were giving stuff away. So he does have a chance to still win it tonight, like everyone else in the chat.
You have one of these, Andrew.
Yeah, you get one of those.
Coming.
It won something though. It did win something. I'm proud of it. God love his heart. What were we even talking about?
We're talking about where you guys get the grain that you use.
Okay, so all of our corn comes from Kentucky and is ground at Highlander Feed. The boys that work at Highlander carry up the grain that we order from them up this like crazy scaffolding in 50-pound bags over their shoulders. These dudes are buff. These dudes are sexy. Kelley's probably not going to be allowed at Highlander Feed after this. Okay. So they carry it up in 50-pound bags, pour it down into the grinder, one 50-pound bag at a time. And I mean, we just ordered, good Lord God, we ordered like 20,000 pounds of grain to fill up the new still. So they're fit, they're buff, they're getting their exercise. So our malts come from Country Malt Group. I'm in the process of talking to a malt house that recently opened in Central Kentucky in the town I grew up in, but I don't know if they have the sort of capacity to even keep up with what we're about to do with the 3,000 gallon still that we're installing. But it would be cool to locally source most of those grains. So a lot of our malts are grown, in the Midwest. And rye doesn't grow well in Kentucky, which is like historically one of the reasons that people moved to corn in the first place is because rye doesn't grow well here. So rye can be a little difficult to find sometimes. But right now we're working on locally sourcing more of everything.
Nice. Now, when we were trying the other stuff, something I thought that was like really unique and kind of, it kind of stepped out was the malted stuff that you guys use. It really kind of, I don't want to say takes over, but has a really big effect compared to other places. Like, I think it was the bourbon. Sorry, everyone drank a lot of that night. I believe it was the bourbon that everyone kind of thought, I'm like, this could be a malt if you didn't tell people in a taste test. Like, they could think clearly that this is a little bit, maybe from Scotland or have a different background. Or it had a really sweet punch to it. How did you guys choose to go with such a high percentage of that?
So one of the reasons that we use such a high percentage of malted barley in the mainline bourbon, just the Hartfield bourbon whiskey, is because we use 2-row instead of 6-row.
Okay.
So there's less alpha amylase per pound. I see the nods, so I don't have to explain a whole lot of this to you.
Well, you can if you want to, or you can just gloss over it.
Yeah, there's less alpha amylase in 2-row per pound as there is in 6-row. And historically, like, that's what people would have had access to back in the day. And this is a pre-Prohibition style bourbon, right? So we have to add more malted barley, period, just to get the DP that we need, just to get the starch conversion that we need in order to make fermentable sugars, right? And that fermentable sugars to make whiskey in the first place. So that malted barley is what really adds I call them free gas flavors. Has it been 5 minutes yet? Can I curse?
Yes, you can curse all you want. We told you didn't have to follow that rule.
You're actually behind, so go for it.
Okay. So I'm just gonna Tourette syndrome start cursing. I'm keeping my language to myself tonight. So we have to add more of it, and we add so much of it that it doesn't just become a modality for starch conversion. Like, it becomes a flavor component. And that's what, separates Hartfield bourbon from the rest, I think.
It's distinctively different. Like, that's like the signature kind of carryover and kick that it has. Like, I was impressed by how much flavor that had in it for, I think it was, forgive me, in the 20% range of it being in there. I would have guessed more of like the 52-ish, 55-ish percent. You had the other sweet stuff, but I mean, that really, for me, played a lot of factor in it. So I was impressed by that.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a compliment. I think that is a compliment for sure.
And along the grains, just going to the next thing, do you guys have special yeast strains? Do you care about that, or are there ones that you like more in particular?
So I have switched to Distilling LS from Lallemand for our agave spirits. But for all of our grain-based spirits, I use Red Star.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a little bit about my background in distilling.
Mm-hmm.
So my papa was a winemaker and a painter. He was one of the founders of the Ashcan School of Painting up in New York. So he grew up in Leslie County, Kentucky, jumped a train to New York, jumped a train to California, jumped a train back to New York. Taught painting at NYU for a semester, hated it, came back to Kentucky and started just painting and drafting, built his own house, and made a whole lot of wine. And I'll get to the wine making again later, because I just did something really cool that I want everybody to hear about. So a little bit of background there. I've got this whole sort of these Appalachian roots that I didn't really realize until I started distilling. And a couple months ago, I was approached by the bourbon archaeologist who you all may have heard of. His name is Nicholas Laraquente. Yeah? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Bushwick Bill is over here. Okay, Bushwick Bill is nodding. Cool. And, cool. And he took us to the Jack Jewett distillery in Versailles, Woodford County, to the remnants of that distillery. And I captured wild yeast there because I'm going to make a whiskey. I'm going to make a white whiskey and then a bourbon in the style that would have been made back then in the 1700s when the Jewett distillery ran. So despite my own sort of indifference towards special yeast strains, I do have a whole lot of respect for that sort of sort of practice of, capturing and filtering wild yeasts. But when it comes to Hartfield bourbon, I'm cool with just using Red Star. The first yeast that me and my ex-boyfriend ever used when I started distilling in the first place was bread yeast. We used flashes on some sugar shine, and it worked great.
Yep.
So
I keep using.
So what gave you the distilling bug, so to speak? I mean, I've heard a little bit of your story, your background previously with Alan and Christy, but I would love, just to hear you tell our viewers that kind of what got you into it to start with.
My interest in distilling strives from this. It feels like a shadow on my shoulder that always wants me to be more and more self-sustainable. I run a little homestead out here. Like what I did all day today was muck my chicken coop, take a bunch of aged chicken poop, hay, compost, and put it out on my garden beds like I do.
Yeah.
I planted a bunch of plants, and distilling just is in the same vein as that for me. Distilling historically was a way for people to preserve their grains beyond feeding their animals and their family. It's a way to see things not go to waste, and that's very important to me, is to not waste anything. Waste not, want not, right?
Right.
So when I got the opportunity to learn how to distill, the Pear ginger brandy that I sent you all, those pears were like clearance pears. They were going to go bad. And I was like, the fuck you are. So I bought them and I mashed them up in a big crock in my office, and I made grappa with them.
Yeah, and I love that concept because there's a lady here locally that does some distilling on her own, and that's kind of what she did. She had a friend that had an orchard, and they would go to the farmer's market, and then basically whatever was left over they didn't sell, they gave it to her, and then she got to distill it, and it was just a great way to not waste it, and was a great resource for her. So
that's wonderful. Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. Like, anytime I have vegetables in the house that are about to go bad, I'm like, stick them in a mason jar with some spring water and salt and ferment them. Like I'm really into fermentation, and not just produce distiller's beer, but to produce like lacto fermented vegetables and stuff. Like I've been making my own mead and wine and simple beers for years, just because Papa always did. So
how much of that for you translated into coming into Hartfield as far as mashing on a much larger scale, so to speak?
That's challenging.
Yeah.
We're about to go hard. We're about to go ham. Okay. Ham standing for heart of the motherfucker. We're about to go really hard into mashing, and I'm fine with that. What even was the question? Hold on.
Just what you learned in brewing and winemaking and doing all of that on your own. What aspects of that translated for you over to Hartfield? Obviously doing it on a bigger scale, but do you feel like that really kind of helped you in shifting over to that? Are there things that translate for you?
For sure. I mean, it gave me a foundation. It gave me a framework with which to sort of build upon. Mashing on a larger scale is obviously more challenging because I have to do a whole lot of math, and naturally, like I'm really not great with numbers. I have what do they call it? Dyscalculia. So 6s turn into 9s, 7s turn into 1s. I have to do formulations. But what up, dude? What up, Bush?
Yep.
Hold on, shit.
Down here.
Hi.
Damn it!
Hey, spirit fingers.
Do simple math that other people can just do in their heads. I have to do several times on paper. But the more that I do it, the more that I use my brain, which is a muscle, the better I get at it.
Yeah.
It's been challenging, but like, I don't know. When I'm hit with a challenge, I'm like, challenge accepted, bitch.
There you go.
For it.
I'm curious what with your studying that you did in school and getting kind of the romanticism of being an English major. Do you find any relation to what you're doing as a distiller? I know there's a certain spirituality and romanticism to that, but is there anything that really hits like, man, this reminds me of this? It's
certainly a fine art, especially in the olfactory sense. You're your sense of smell is the strongest sense that you have, and it's what really brings back nostalgic memories for me. And so I'll smell a certain thing in the distillery and be like, oh shit, I wrote a poem about this 10 years ago, right? About something that smelled similar. You know, working with aromatics and especially making gin makes me feel like a witch. You know, I'm so stoked. I feel very witchy, right? Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the fine arts, just like, you know, writing was a fine art for me. And I still write. Sometimes I write poems about the still. I'm not going to share them with you yet because they're not polished. Maybe later. Maybe next time.
Then we should all have a drink, just to get to that point. So
yeah, maybe you should.
I have.
I have one. Yeah.
Captain Walkie.
So do you want to talk us through a little bit more on this white whiskey?
Well,
get into it?
I don't like to lead the witness. Whenever I lead people in tastings, the last thing I want to do is be like, I taste this and this and that and this, because I feel like that's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to let every single person tell me what they think, but I will tell you a little bit about the distillation process.
Yes, that.
So
Thank you.
Yeah.
the white whiskey that you're drinking was distilled on Priscilla. She's the 500-gallon pot still. The two 26-gallon stills are named Vampira and Elvira. Sorry, buddy. I was like, I'm naming myself. He was like, whatever. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Freak. So these were all distilled on Priscilla. Priscilla is a 500-gallon hybrid reflux still. Okay, so she has a reflux column. That's like her head, I guess. And it's got two big old plates in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I only distilled this one time. That's what the hybrid reflux column allows us to do, is just go through one pass with the distillation process. I don't make low wines and then throw it back in and redistill it. This was only distilled one time. We distill it at pretty low temperature as well. I've never really seen the temp pass, but I didn't approve those names. Stop rolling.
I'm curious who named him, and I'm assuming that Vampira came before Elvira, because I mean,
Vampira did come before Elvira.
Yes.
Well, you're damn right she was. Elvira was 100% copy off of Vampira, and it was bullshit.
And Vampira tried to sue her and lost.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know.
She died penniless.
She did die penniless. Yeah. People come into the distillery and they're like, "Oh, Vampira Elvira, ha ha ha," and then some of them are like, "Yeah, I see what you did there."
Yeah.
You know, who are like Ed Wood fans, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's serious shit.
Yeah, it's
I never know Mike took this seriously.
It's a very serious shit. Yeah, she was. Yeah, no, she was. She got screwed over hard. I mean, big time.
Google it. Google it, guys. We have the internet at our fingers. You and you. Google it. I did it right for one.
You did.
You and you. Okay. What were we talking about?
I don't know.
I'm not even. So this white whiskey went through one pass in Priscilla, who's the big still. And when it comes out, it's so oily that you can see the oils floating on top of the distillate. And I like that. That's what I want. Because oil equals flavor. Kelley, make fire. Boom. Me, Kelley, you. You big bank Hank. What the big bank Hank?
we
Who are you guys?
We were talking about the Sugar Hill Gang earlier this evening.
Yes.
Oh, wicked.
So we're having a conversation about 80s and 90s rappers, and
to be honest, periodically our names do change during the episode.
Them, yes.
If you ever are trying to pay attention, they just randomly change throughout the show.
Okay.
So that's nothing on you.
How do you even do that? I want to change my name. Okay, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not there yet. Maybe next time.
if you're running a single pass on this, what's the proof coming off the still?
Well, it depends. So throughout the day, it'll come off at different proofs, obviously.
Right.
So I try to make it so that the overall proof of all the distillate I'm catching, here's all the distillate.
Yes.
in my arms right now. Here's all the distillate. So the distillate is as close to either barrel entry proof or, bottle entry proof as I possibly can. This distillate that you're drinking, the overall proof was 108, and it's bottled 100. So I got really close. I barely even had to cut this with water. So this is very, very grain forward. I will say that, but I'm not going to give you any flavor.
No, I would agree with that. Now, Mike or Ben, do you want to go? Because just on the nose, and I'll stop. It almost smelled like a flat gin for a second. When I first like an earthy gin when I got up to it, like the first whiff of it. But I'll let you guys go with what you guys got off of it. I'll get back to it afterwards.
We can.
Yeah, I have a little bit of there's a little bit of a musty new make smell right on top, and then I get some malt funk going on, which is I love malt. I call it a malt funk is the way I describe kind of a malty grain note. There's some sweet corn there, and then once I get into sipping it, to me, one of the notes that comes off is there's a slightly sweet grape note that actually reminds me of grappa a little bit.
Cool.
Sorry, I had to mute. I got two annoying dogs going nuts.
I understand. I have two dogs right here.
Yeah. They're a little rowdy right now because there's nobody else upstairs. No, I was getting the malt funk, but the floral. I didn't want to say gin. I just have it's what it's like a response like gin. I didn't want to have
We
that
found a
response.
couple we liked finally.
But yeah,
I didn't send you on the barrel rested gin that we do. Damn it!
well,
If you hate gin, you'll like that. But anyway.
so yeah, but yeah, there that maltiness to it, but it's like a malt, more of a malt cereal that's been cooked, is what I get on it but then there's a little bit. I didn't want to say juniper, but definitely floral that I was getting on the nose. But the taste was like,
no, it's
taste
different.
is totally different. Oh yeah.
It runs.
There's a
left field.
buttery aspect to the palate that I really like.
There's a little bit of floral there, but as you hit, Mike, there is that floral note to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Almost reminded me a little bit of a violet kind of note there.
Yeah, dog violet.
I was getting the edge of like an elderberry flower.
Hmm.
And as well too in there. But no, it's different. It's got like this
I love it.
earthy tone that you don't get from everyone's new make. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I like
that hot dog, I feel like kind of tastes like nothing because it's had the shit distilled out of it.
That's very true. I remember.
No, I'm not talking shit about any other distillery, I swear.
You can talk shit about any distillery you want, and maybe we'll try to misconstrue it that way, but not intentionally.
Not talking shit. I think any distillation method is like a cool distillation method. So.
No, but there's a lot of them where you can tell it's sometimes it's almost like you're getting like a vodka-ish version of it because it's so clean and crisp. You're like, man, that must be super hearts, even though it's not. It's not, but that's interesting. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I am excited about this Pear ginger brandy, so I'm gonna pour that one next, just because I'm excited about it.
Before we do that, do we want to take a swig of the barrel aged bourbon here, following off of the new make, just to see
rinsing out the new make glass?
And yep.
You guys can do that. I don't have any because Friday night when we got done tasting
You
it,
killed it?
I didn't kill it. I gave people a sample. I poured it out and I saved some, and everyone at the table was like, "Damn, that was really good." And usually there's one asshole that's a pain in the butt in our group that's like, "Oh, I don't like it." Cleared
Say his
every.
name. Say his name.
Well, it can be different ones. Sometimes it's Grant, sometimes it's Rick. They each have things that they absolutely hate. That whatever. Everyone has their own version of stuff. Universally went through, and half the guy who wasn't even drinking was like, "Wow, that was one of the best reactions all of you have had to a whiskey ever." You seemed like everyone liked it and was like, went with it. So no, I don't have any because they took the rest of the bottle I had and fucking poured it out on me. So I don't have one to compare backward and forward. So I'll let Mike and Ben do that.
Yeah, Alan just said Patrick fed the gimp. So yeah.
Hey, did we reach every Friday? I'll be in that room until we reach 1,000 subscribers. Just keep that in mind, all you fans. You should start sharing that. I need to get out of that damn room.
You have to go to the back room of the pawn shop every Friday. Try to earn your way out.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Until one Friday he shows up with the ball gag on.
That's right.
All right, here.
Your name
Just one Friday.
Slick Rick.
What? I didn't change mine. I gotta take this off now.
No,
What'd you do?
Oh, that
Slick
was.
Rick.
No.
Rick.
No.
Yeah, it's time to.
I literally can't do.
Yeah.
I messaged Patrick earlier and I was like, okay, so I'm Eastern time and you're
Yep.
Central time. What is time?
I didn't even get into the what is God's time that we have here. Is like, no, it's Central. Central is the real time zone.
We're stepping out of the space-time continuum. There is no time here.
It's all the same damn day, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
we're just talking about how the ginger pear brandy and just a lot of other people are creating some neat stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
this
Right.
is on the nose. Is really nice. I do get a little more of that, and you said technically this is as a grappa at this point because it's only been in there a couple months.
It's not been in there that long. When we tried it, we all sort of agreed, like, barrel aging will do something really cool to this brandy. But when it was just it on its own, I thought it was phenomenal. And then I set it in a barrel, and after about 2 months, I was like, damn, that's good. So I don't even know how much longer I'm going to leave it in there. I don't think I want it to get super dark.
Once again, this is like a
Dang, I love this.
So this was made out like solely out of pears, and I just used Red Star to ferment it. And then I sieved out the remaining solids, topped it off with water in one of our 26-gallon small stills. We call them the small stills. This went into Elvira, actually. And then I ran ginger up in the gin basket. And I had asked Alan Bishop for advice actually about this. And he tried it when it was still grappa. I took a sample up to his house before it had been barrel rested. And he was like, way to go, Kel. I was like, thanks. While you all try that, I'm going to go pee real quick.
That's fine.
Do it.
You can come back.
Okay,
You're all good.
you all can look at my front door for a little while.
So when she comes back, we have to say someone
We should
came
all
in the
be-
front door.
We should all be gone when she comes back.
We at least have to all change our name.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, before we get into this pear real quick, we've been drinking the bourbon before, but
Yeah.
on her recommendation of dumping the white whiskey, not washing it out, just refilling with the bourbon.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Because it changed. It got really interesting in a good way.
It did. It did. I thought it would add a kind of a sharpness to the bourbon.
Right.
Initially, but it didn't. It made it as round as the wheated whiskey is to me.
Right.
And it added a little bit of like more of a buttery floral to it, but I need to do that again.
I get more of the barrel note coming out from it. It's almost like fresh sawn oak boards,
All right,
a little
I'm gonna
bit
do
right
this
on top
again.
there. And I get that floral, I get the buttery note you're talking about, but there's this oaky wood note in there, the kind of a fresh wood note that's kind of like really neat coming off the top there.
All right, I'm gonna do that again.
Okay. Coors Light equals vitamin P.
All right. Soon made it back. They were discussing the combination of them. We were concerned about the guy who came in your door, but I think we're all safe at this point.
Stop. I'll kill him. Don't kill him. I got guns all over there.
I don't doubt that at all.
I'm a woman living alone in the country, honey. I got guns.
I can just reach right over the computer here. I'm good.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, man.
This too, it has just a little bit different nose. Now, maybe that is the pear, but you have both of these have this neat, like earthy tone to it. can't peg it. This is gonna bug me. This is why I should have had some before you came on, but I wanted to wait and not touch it. Yeah, yes, Kevin, I was thinking that name too, but I decided not to go with it.
Bundy.
This is gorgeous. So I'm just curious, are you planning to do some more eau de vie type spirits or brandies, things like that?
For sure. So
Yeah.
since I've had some downtime in distillation while we were working up 3,000 gallon still versus the 500, I've sort of immersed myself in some R&D. So basically, any freaky idea I've had over the past month or so, I've just done it. I've just fermented it small in my office, run it through the small stills, and then run upstairs like, hey guys, what do you think? So, so far, I've gotten real good feedback about everything, and I would love to do some more eau de vies, especially with, locally grown, fruits and apples and maybe even pawpaws. We'll see. It's not pawpaw season
Cool.
yet.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm growing a ton of strawberries this year. That's one of the things I did this afternoon. And I would like to do, like a Ksl Berries sort of eau de vie with some different berries that I'm growing, because I grow a lot of stuff every year. So we'll see what actually makes it up onto the shelf versus what I just sort of keep in the distillery for private tours and for events like this. Because this Pear ginger grappa, like, it really can't ever be replicated. I don't think. I didn't do any measurements, man.
I don't know.
I just put it in the crock.
If you can get close, good,
Yeah.
because on the nose, I think if you turn this into a candle, women would be buying it everywhere. I mean, it smells amazing, the combination of pear and the ginger. But on the palate, for me, it's more like it's an earthy ginger note. I mean, I could almost literally feel like you could taste earth in it, which is I find just really intriguing with the ginger, and then the pear kind of dances all around it, and it's this. I'm in love with this. I mean, for me, like I love eau de vies and brandies, and Obstler, which is a pear and apple brandy German style that they make, is like one of my favorites. So this is kind of hearkening to that a little bit, but just more that ginger impulse, and it's
I'm surprised how much the ginger. It seems like it's quietly in there, but as like it fades, it's like the ginger starts to rise up, and like on the finish starts to almost take hold.
Yeah, it's really present in the finish.
Yeah.
When I first tasted it, I was like, I can't taste none of the ginger. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it creeps up on you, definitely.
It tastes it. Well, don't take this, and this isn't a bad way, 'cause I don't know if you're a cocktail person or not. But if someone has a very well crafted cocktail, just like they're a very good chef and trying to bring out specific flavors, it has layers that's on there. It's like, oh, it's like this, and then as you're enjoying it, it's like it's by design that, oh, guess what? Here comes a surprise, folks. And it's not too ginger at all. It's a very, very nice amount of it.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well done, very well done.
Thanks. I'm having a lot of fun with grappas. This past week, so I've had, I told y'all my papa was a winemaker. I've had some of the last of his wine sitting in my house forever. So Papa died in 91, 92, I believe. I think it was actually 91. Yeah, Papa died in February 91. And I've had the very last of his wine in my possession since then, either in storage or at my parents' house or at my house. And the other day I was looking at it and I was like, why don't you distill that before it goes wrong? Like, why don't you distill that before it goes to vinegar? So over the past few days, I've been distilling the last of Papa's elderberry wine into a grappa. And I ended up with about 4 gallons. And the other day, Saturday, was the last of the run, I think. Yeah, I hit tails on Saturday. Saturday, I ran it through our small still and hooked up the gin basket in the column of the still with some rose petals and some hibiscus petals. And it came out phenomenal. I'll send y'all some if you want to try it. But like, once this is, it's gone. This is like high key special shit.
Yeah.
I was excited when you just said you were doing the elderberry wine. Like, that is
a really unique, fun flavor in itself before adding all that extra stuff in.
Yeah, so I run that through. It turned out great. I'm going to check on it tomorrow when I go into work because it's been mingling for a couple days. And I don't know what I'm going to end up proofing it down to. We'll have to see. I'm going to get some people to do some taste tests with me, and we'll see what happens there. But just to be able to like alchemize the last thing that dude ever made before he died, and make it into something else and share that with people was like really important to me. I was like downstairs with like tears, just like
I can understand. Yeah.
I'm fun. Yeah.
Are you going to bottle any of that up for family, like smaller bottles? And
for family, really, really small, like little shooters, like I gave to y'all. Probably I only have 4 gallons, and I want that to sort of last me the rest of my life. And, that's going to be something that I bust out only during special occasions. But I do definitely want some feedback on it.
Nice. Well, I'm up for that because I'm excited about it. And you may just see us stop in randomly to do so and be like, so what about this wine, this elderberry?
Yeah.
I heard rumors about it. No, a while ago, earlier in the chat, Kevin was asking if you would talk about your time. I think it was with Kentucky Spirits. If I can find it, I can. Well, I'm not going back that far. It was a while ago. Was that what he said?
Kentucky Spirits Limited.
Yes. Sorry, I'm going.
Yeah.
That was like 15 minutes ago. I'm not going back to find it.
So Kentucky Spirits Limited is an offshoot of Hartfield Company that Andrew started once we came into some money for making hand sanitizer. So from March of September of last year, we didn't get to distill anything because we were making hand sanitizer, pardon me, throughout the pandemic. And when I say making, I say that I was making like 6,000-7,000 gallons every couple of days. We were selling it in big old IBC totes. Or 55-gallon barrels. Like we were going ham on the hand sanitizer, and we were selling it at an affordable price. So people were coming to us first. So Ksl started because we wanted to make tasting kits, and initially, our idea was that our tasting kits would involve Hartfield products, but because we didn't get to distill for so long, we were concerned about getting high on our own supply, basically. So we started sourcing barrels for Ksl. So Ksl barrels are sourced. They're not Hartfield juice. They come in 53-gallon barrels. Most of them are about 2.5 to 3 years old. And we sell them at barrel proof. So far they've been anywhere from about 108 to 121.6 proof, I think was the highest, was 121.6. So we bottle that up at barrel strength, and we can ship that to people's houses in tasting kits. So tasting kits can also include Hartfield bourbon. It basically sort of depends on the tier of Ksl kit that you've ordered. And there's a website online called KentuckySpiritsLimited.com. So you can sort of pick the tier.
I'll put it in the link.
Yeah, it's very cool. You can sort of pick the tier that you want, and you get to choose between solely Ksl spirits or, a Hartfield spirit and something from another distillery. So you get the kit shipped to your house. You get sent a Zoom link, much like you all did with me. You get sent a Zoom link, and you log in at a certain time and date, and it's either me or Andrew or one of our other employees going through a whole tasting experience with you. But
Nice.
Ksl barrels are very, very good. It was just sort of a way for us to provide the public with something to drink at home while we're all trying to stay safe at home without selling so much of it that we can't fill POs for the Hartfield mainline bourbon that we're selling.
Nice. I don't even know about that. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I didn't even play with that yet or get any tasting kits. That's my own fault.
Yeah, I mean, it was a way to diversify. Andrew's always looking for ways to sort of diversify and make sure that we've got other sources of income just besides Hartfield. And so right now, tasting kits are super successful, and we'll go as small as 2 people buying a tasting kit from us up to 30, 40, 50 people logging into the Zoom meeting, and we'll just ship all that out to their houses. So we go, for bachelor or bachelorette parties up to giant corporate events, because they can't have cocktail hours right now. They can't go meet at a hotel for a cocktail hour. So they have a virtual cocktail hour with us that gets them through whatever 8-hour mind-numbing meeting they're in. You meet for 4 hours, go have a little tasting with Kelley, get a little buzz on, and then you go back to whatever horrible shit.
It's the right type of lunch that people used to have.
3 martini lunch. Yeah. I call that the 3 martini lunch for sure.
Yeah.
It's all been fun. I love it. It's just another cool project that we're doing. I'm a good time gal,
That sounds awesome.
So I want to know, what's the weirdest thing you fermented and tried to distill?
No comment.
What's the weirdest thing that you're willing to comment about?
Yeah. How's that?
How's this Coors Light? Oh, how's this delicious? How is it?
The mountains still look blue and cold, so I think it's okay for me.
Yeah.
Tap the Rockies, Coors Light. Yeah, I'm gonna have to plead the fifth on that, buddy.
Okay.
I'm always fermenting some weird shit.
Hey, that's we've had some
fifth on that one. I don't know.
We've had some
we've
had some uniquely fermented and distilled spirits. I guess you'd call it a spirit that had let's say it smelled like a particular roadkill. Yeah.
You can't.
Okay.
It was good.
Jim's concerned that you distilled Carol Baskin's husband.
No comment, Jim Nunya.
It was.
It's not Andrew again. Get out of here.
I don't think that's it.
Certain mezcal, they do hang meat.
She fed him to a tiger because he was a pedophile. Everybody knows this, People call Carol Baskin a bitch, but I don't even, you know what? Don't get me started.
Once again, that's for the after show. We'll wait.
Yeah.
We'll wait for her.
He was a gross old man, and he deserved to die. And I'm glad she fed him to a tiger. I'm done. I'm done. What's everybody saying? I will fight anyone. No, I don't know what's going on there. Okay. What are you doing now?
What am I doing now? I'm switching over to the Franken Whiskey.
You are very out of focus, Big Bang Hank.
Oh, I'm out of focus? Give me a second.
Yeah.
I can fix that.
Yeah.
That's because
he looks fine to us. It's got to be the Coors.
It's the Coors doing it, yeah. See? Look what it did now. It screwed me up really bad. No.
Did what? What did it do? Look fine. Okay.
Oh,
I'm back now. Mark Townsend's right. Yeah, the After Dark show tonight. There could be one.
After Dark.
All right. Now.
What is it? Is this the Franken Whiskey?
Yes, it is. And this is, I'm sorry, I'm more excited about this than the other stuff. This smells fucking insane, man.
If you go back about, 5-10 minutes through the video, you'll see where I pour this and I take a nose of it and just watch for my face reaction, because holy shit, this is amazing.
Well, and Jim was saying that is exactly what someone who distilled him would say. It's one of those people. It was hard to feel bad for anyone on the show. That's all I'm gonna say. It was.
Look, all I say is there is mezcal that they distill where they're hanging chickens or meat above the still.
Yeah, and like rum that has like goat's heads in it from the Dunder Pits.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jamaican rum.
If that's your business, by God, I'm here for it. if it tastes good. Those freaky esters, baby. Get those freaky bacterial colonies all you want. I'm here for
Well,
it.
Alan and I have had some conversations about this. I've got some ideas I want to see happen at some point. So
Come on down.
Oh shit! Sorry,
It's
it was
probably
a
going to happen in a
gremlin.
couple weeks.
You got a husband you need to get rid of? I'll distill his.
No,
ass.
no.
we're going
I-
fried green tomatoes distillation
That's
style.
right.
That is one of my favorite films. Don't even talk about fried green tomatoes. It's so good. Have you read the book? No, it was a book before it was a movie.
Yeah.
Right. No, but I have been to the Whistle Stop outside of Birmingham before. So
I'm gonna cry if we talk about fried green tomatoes anymore. Anytime people come over to my house, I'm like, all right, first of all, have you seen fried green tomatoes? Oh, you have? Well, let's watch Waterworld. Are we friends or are we not friends? Okay. I have a Waterworld poster in my office at work.
I haven't seen it in a while now. I'm intrigued to go.
Yeah.
To go back.
that's one of those movies. Like I saw that when it came out, but I have not revisited that in a long time. So
It's aged.
that might be worth the.
It's aged shockingly well.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you do to the Franken whiskey? What's going on in the distilling process behind this?
What didn't I do to the Franken whiskey? So Franken whiskey is a whole lot of things. The reason that it's called Franken whiskey, and this was something that happened before I ever even started working at Hartfield. I remember going upstairs and seeing these barrels marked Franken whiskey and being like, what the hell is that? Because I didn't have a whole lot of experience in the industry. So Franken whiskey is, so say that I've got 8 gallons of distillate and I've got a 6.2 gallon barrel, which is what we usually age in. I'm going to put that 6.2 in there and I'm going to have a little bit left over. Well, I'm not going to throw that distillate out. I'm not going to throw good alcohol out. So we just stick it in a barrel. Well, then maybe the next day I run a different mash bill and I've got a little bit left over. I'll take that extra and put it in the same barrel. So Franken whiskey is a mishmash. It's like a collection of parts and pieces and limbs from all of these different mash bills. And that's one of the reasons that people are like, oh, I smell this and this and this and this and this and this and this, and I taste this and this and this and this and this and this and this, right? Like that's one of the reasons that it's hard to pinpoint.
Like I'm smelling sherry and I'm tasting port in this, and that's what kind of just my brain is just going. What in the world?
Yeah.
Holy crap! Is it good?
That was all the berry the neat and different berry
Yeah.
notes that I'm getting in here is what I found different.
Yeah, that's one of the notes that Christy Atkinson from ABV Network got when she first tasted the Franken whiskey right before I pulled it off the ricks and dumped it and bottled it at barrel proof. What you're tasting right now is 117.8, I believe.
That's what's on there. Yeah.
117.8. It may have gone down like half a degree. But we bottled that at barrel strength. And then it's going to be released in October because it's spooky. And I'm a spooky lady, right?
Nice.
So we had Tony Moore, who worked on the original Walking Dead comics, design the label for it. And I actually don't have a bottle of Franken whiskey with me tonight to show you the label. But it's this dope-ass Frankenstein design, and there's only like 70 bottles of this stuff in existence. And once it's gone, it's gone.
Wow.
So,
Well,
next year we're going to come out with another batch, and it will be completely different than the batch that you had this year. I mean, this is really, really small batch stuff.
Very
that's
cool.
something to go after. Like it's one of the things. If you're going to hunt things down or stop out at some place, this would be one to hunt after because this is.
People go ape for this stuff. Anybody who comes in for like a private Hartfield pour gets a taste of this, just a little bit, because there's only so much in existence. And so I sent it to you all as well, just so we can sort of get the hype out for it as well. But once it's gone, it's gone. And will never exist in the same
Oh
way.
man.
So hypothetically, if somebody were to visit the distillery in, let's say, a month,
Mm-hmm.
would there be a way to leave with any of it?
No.
No.
Damn it!
No, but this, like Ben
What if
said,
they
this,
brought you a-
this tastes
What
like
if they brought you a 36-pack of Coors Light?
You
You
mean
need a
water?
sponsorship. You need a
Huh?
sponsorship.
You mean 30 cup of water? You're gonna come at me now, want my freaking whiskey after
Beautiful.
you talk shit about me drinking this delicious,
See?
port.
Delicious.
But also, American Spirit sponsor me. Don't sponsor my filthy smoking habit, but
No, but man, I like Ben said, this almost tastes like a whiskey that's been finished in at least three different barrels for me. Like there is such a unique kind of tail end to this. I think it is really neat.
well, it's three different barrels that I dumped. This is only made up of three different barrels, and they had been aging for different periods of time. They were completely different mash bills. Technically, I could go back into our software and find out every single thing that went into this, but like, where's the fun in that?
Mhm.
Unless you're TTB, sorry, it's a mystery. Okay. You don't get to know.
Kevin was wondering if
No.
has this made it to the oh no, it's not. It's going to be December or not December, October. October.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a Halloween release because it's spooky.
Mm. This will be fantastic, man. I could drink this by a fire in that time frame even better. Like this,
So good.
wow.
So good.
This is
By the fire, walking to the fire, thinking about the fire. After the fire, it's all good.
Yeah, one of the I will tell you a secret. One of my Franken whiskey barrels for the next release is a single malt. I won't
Okay.
tell you the rest of them, but one of them's a single malt, and then the others are just like hidden.
Once again, I don't know if I would have picked that. Are these like all bourbon like leftovers that are in this Franken whiskey, or is
just leave the mystery alone, Big Hank.
I'm sorry.
I'm not going to tell you.
All right, we're gonna shut
I
off
know-
the stream
I know
because I
what-
want answers. No.
Man, on the back of the tongue, I'm getting like notes of a little bit of like sandalwood and maybe some rose petal
Yeah, man.
and incense, and it's just holy crap. I freaking love that.
I did not put incense into the barrel.
I-
I swear.
Not saying you did, but that's kind of what I'm picking up off of there, and it's
Yeah, I
oh,
mean,
it's
it's got
amazing.
like everything. Like it hits every single spot on the tongue. It's incredible. Yeah. I'm so happy with the way that turned out. I dumped them and I was
You
like,
should be.
well, we'll see what the hell happens. And then I tried it and I was like, oh,
No,
what am I
that
doing? Like, we can never replicate this, man.
But that's I don't know. That's what I love so
I'm
much
a
about.
monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the magic of small distilleries of craft distilling. You know, people want to go chase after the Buffalo Trace releases and stuff. We've had our conversations on the show about that. This is the kind of stuff I'd rather chase after. You know,
What had your
Yeah.
conversations on the show about
about like Buffalo Trace, BTAC
corporations
releases,
pretending
the big
to be
corporate distillers.
People
Yeah,
that stand
you
in
know,
line and do lotteries and everything else for all that stuff when instead
Yeah.
they could.
I would
They could-
rather
Yeah.
spend my money and time going after stuff like this.
Well, thank
100%.
you, man.
our buddy Mark, who's up in has a distillery up in Canada, was wondering what is the average ages of the Franken whiskey or
I
this
can
version.
say so. One of them was pulled in 2.5 to 1.5 years old, and those vary by barrel top. Some of them were put into unused bourbon barrels,
Okay.
and some of them were aged in barrels that had already had whiskeys in them. And I'm not going to release too much, but nothing is over 2.5 years old.
Nice,
Hmm.
nice, and I believe that. Just for everyone else, because like we said, your bourbon and stuff is up to 8 and 11 months. How long before you start releasing kind of the next stage? Maybe it's 18 months, whatever the next kind of jump up is in the release for those.
Well, I mean, it just depends on when it tastes like we can release it. So we have bigger barrels upstairs. Right now I've got 2 10-gallon barrels that I feel like are almost ready. But I don't know what I want to do with them yet. I am going to pull them soon, but I'm not sure what we're going to do with them. It just depends on how they taste when they're mingled. And we'll do that, in a small batch before we actually dump entire barrels together. Because what if it sucks, right? And I mean, we also have 53-gallon 4-year bottled and bond stuff that is as of, gosh, what month is it? What day is it? I don't know if I have anymore. As of a few months ago, it was 2.5 years old. So we're going to have a 4-year bottled and bond coming out in a little while.
Nice.
Year and a half.
I like.
And then we're going to keep on doing that. Like one of my big goals over the next little bit, especially with the big still, is to fill a whole lot of 53s and to come out with a 4-year bottled and bond like every 4 years. So
Nice.
4 years from now, when I'm an older woman than I am right now, when I'm even more Spencerian than I am, we will have even more 4-year-old whiskey. But in about a year and a half, I'll have my first bottled and bond 4-year. So we're aging up, but honestly, like I don't see any reason to move the mainline Hartfield bourbon out of the 6.2 gallon barrels.
No.
They're Kelley size. You know, I watched y'all's live stream and I told somebody like we use these because that's what Kelley can lift. Well, Kelley can lift more than that. Thank you very much. What would you rather drop on your toe? A 600 gallon, like not a gallon, but a 600 pound 53 or a 75 pound 6.2. Like, let's be real, boys. We don't have a barrel lift on the 3rd floor, and we're not planning on getting one. So it's just easier for us right now to move everything back and forth. And I'll say, like, not to toot my own horn, but beep, beep, my 6.2 gallon stuff don't taste green. None of my bourbon tastes green.
No, not at all.
I will die on that hill.
No.
None of the bourbon that we're in the smaller barrels taste green. Because
we are with you on that. They are.
And I am absolutely, this will stay.
If it ain't broke,
as long as I can get it, this will stay on my shelf. I will keep supplies of this because it's just that good on its own. This isn't one of those where you drink. People,
they're well loved.
I'm going to go on a rant here because this pisses me off, and we've had this discussion a little bit. But it's time. You see other reviewers get on here, that come on, and they're like, "Oh, this is a great craft whiskey. This is a great craft whiskey." But wait till it gets 4 years or 6 years, or wait till we get 8 years of it. No, it doesn't need that. It's exactly great the way it is. If some of the stuff that Alan's got out that's 4 years, and even some of his younger stuff that he's had, other people that we've had their whiskeys that are in the 2 to 3 year range, they're just freaking phenomenal exactly where they are. And that's where they need to stay. And this at 6 months, 5 to 6 months, holy cow, it's amazing. And I wouldn't want to change anything about it because it's got its uniqueness, it's got its character, and it stands out from the crowd. And that's what I love about it. But like you said, it doesn't taste green, and it's just got these amazing fresh notes to it. Not green, just I'd call it fresh. And it's outstanding. So
thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that I would really change. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's as a young distillery, it's helped us grow faster because we can push out bourbon faster. Because unless you're trying to make Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, there's no age limit, right? So I can kind of do whatever I want. Like, why would I change that process? For contract distillation. For bottled and bond releases, for other freaky projects, like sure, we'll age longer in bigger barrels. Like I've got our bourbon mash bill aging in toasted wine barrels upstairs right now that are 53s. Just for shits and giggles. One of our investors wanted to see it happen, so we're like, yeah, dude, we'll do that for you. But right now, as far as just mainline Hartfield goes, that's what works for us, and I think that it's great. So.
And Andrew must have seen our show before because I know we've said these exact words. F them down with age horse.
Yeah, we do not like the age horse. It pisses us off. Absolutely pisses us off when they start in with that shit because it's not right. I mean, it's not that's they're stuck on an age for no frickin' reason whatsoever.
For no fucking reason other than, sometimes when that alcohol hits the barrel, it's had the shit distilled out of it and it tastes like absolutely nothing. Like you all had my white whiskey. That's what that goes into the barrel tasting like, and that's why it's so good when it comes out because it's withheld all of the grain flavors. Right? Nothing against anybody who uses bigger barrels. I really don't like to start fights about that. But also when people come at me and they're like, "Oh, 6.2 gallons, you're not a real distiller. It's not a real distillery." I'm like,
Yeah.
eat my entire ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The whole
Go
thing.
for it, because
Yeah.
to me it.
Thing.
There you go. 'Cause
Yeah.
to me,
No.
it takes more art, and it takes more art, and it takes more talent to do what you're doing with the smaller barrels than people managing some of the larger barrels, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I don't feel like we're cheating. I feel like we've sort of like hacked something,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Well, and when people start having older whiskeys, let's say the 10, 15, whatever range, and they're thinking it's better, well, guess what? That's because it wasn't good enough at the 8 to 6 and 8 year range. When the barrels came to that point, they're like, that doesn't quite work. And they pushed it down the road, and they're like, well, now it does. And I'm like, I respect that. I understand the premise, but it's like, well, that means there was a whole bunch back here that everyone was like, you were a little iffy on that you wouldn't let go. And if you're letting stuff go at 6 months, a year, 2, 3, 4, like we're talking about, then when you do get to those other ages, it's just going to blow other people out of the water.
I mean,
and that's all we're waiting for.
I dug into some of the bottled and bond stuff that we have because it was 2.5 years old, and we thought, well, why not? Let's pop a little drill in there and take a sample and see how it tastes. It's fucking phenomenal. It's really, really good, and it's only going to get better with age. It's already so good. It's just like it's the color of my pee after like a 3-day drinking bender. You know, it's not dark. Kelly, drink more water.
keep that off the label.
I'll go ahead and say I'm drinking more water. I'm going to drink more water before Andrew tells me to drink more water.
Yeah.
I'm drinking more water, Andrew.
She's working for a sponsorship from Coors. Just leave it.
What? I mean, the cool, crisp, refreshing.
Is it even made in Colorado anymore? Or did they? I'm just sorry. That's off topic. Doesn't matter.
No idea.
Hey,
When
man,
is
it was
the distillery opening for tours, or is the shop open for visits? The distillery's been open, Bubby. I don't know who lied to you. The distillery's been open for tours for quite a while, and you can book a tour online at hartfieldcompany.com, and the shop's open. So we're open 9 to 5 Mondays through Fridays and 10 to 5 on Saturdays. And I work Tuesday through Saturday, so if you really want to have a good time, you'll come in on one of those days.
Nice.
awesome.
That was Tim Swiat, I think, or Tim Swiat. I don't know how to say his name, but we're friends on the internet. Hi, Tim.
I was way behind. John saying 5-inch gallon barrels can do amazing things. We totally agree, John.
Anything under that, and it's all, I don't know, all just like evaporates and is full of weird gnats. I don't know. I tried to age some stuff in a used brandy barrel, not a used brandy barrel, but a used rum barrel in my office that was just like a liter or so. It was one of the baby barrels, and it all just evaporated.
Yeah, that's the I've played around with the small barrels like that, and it will go really fast.
They're so cute, but also they're terribly manufactured by people on Etsy who think they know how to cooper.
Hey, but my best favorite thing about this is I know people who got those, and then they don't realize that there's plastic on the inside, and it's really supposed to be like a decanter and not the aging vessel when you get it. And I was like, boy, that's gonna ruin some people's days after they leave it in there for like 3-4 weeks. You're like, man, this turned out great. I was like, that's just plastic.
Yeah.
That's
You love to drink microplastics. I do. I do.
But I was going to tell you, I can't tell you how excited I was to see when you sent us the package, when I opened up and saw the white whiskey in there, because the first time I opened up the bourbon here, we were having like a Zoom call with, I think, Christy and Alan and a bunch of other people, and they were asking, what did I think of it? And I'm just like, I'm blown away. It's amazing. I said, as good as this is at 6 months, I want to taste the new make, because that's got to be amazing. And that's, bam, that's exactly what it is.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so people were wondering what cooperage you use.
The Barrel Mill.
Minnesota.
They're in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And that's close.
Oh, yeah.
If they ever let that border open up, Mark, you can get those sent up there probably.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Mark is stuck on the other side.
We only make them a couple times a year, though, and I'm pretty sure that we just ordered the last stuff.
I like Kelly's like, I don't want to, but I'm going to rain on your parade.
Both Andrew and I have a habit of panic buying things so deep in the night. If the pallet of barrels ever shows up, I'm like, wicked. Andrew was up at like 3 a.m. I do the same thing. I like to panic order yeast in the middle of the night. Just like laying awake at night, like.
I like the guy who gets to
you're ordering productive things. There's not ordering random shit to show up at the distillery.
Yeah, I'm not just like panic buying cough syrup or something like that.
Why do we have 30 samurai swords?
The cough syrup part. What are we using this in? Are we distilling this week? What the hell is that?
Are we just like gonna robo trip our way through the entire week? Yes. Don't ask questions. Go with it. Just do it.
Go
home.
Where can?
Go home.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Where can we find your whiskey? Is it only at the distillery? Or are there other places that people can find your?
We are in 13 states in Canada. 13 states in Alberta, Canada, to be specific. It used to be really easy to remember what all states that we were in because it was only like 3. And now it's a lot, and I don't remember.
That's fair. So check the website. I have that in the link.
Also, recently, Kentucky House Bill 415 passed. Well, it was a year ago today that it passed. And then it went into effect last July. So I can ship directly from the distillery to anywhere in Kentucky and also into states that don't have, like, fascist liquor laws, okay? So
6 more states. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
All I'll say is some showed up in my state that I ordered. Whether their laws, anyway, they are what they are. All I'm saying is, I live in.
Wait, one time. There we go. Okay. Shut up. No, we're not doing anything like illegal like that. But yeah, if you just like live in a society and your state isn't ridiculous, I can ship liquor to you. But we're available in a lot of Trader Joe's and liquor barns and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Kevin was asking a question about because we were talking about Minnesota barrels before and what the difference is. It's the growing seasons. I was gonna say they have tighter rings, so you don't get as much sugar and you get a little bit more like a rye spice. When I first ran into it, I think it was with Douglas and Todd, and there's no rye in their whiskey whatsoever. And I was like, bullshit, I don't believe you. And I had to talk to him to prove it. I was like, I just don't buy it. And then our friend Mitch Weddle was like, oh, no, this is the answer. And I was like, well, it's nice to know that because I didn't know that just that type of regional difference could create such a different effect on the taste at the end.
It really does. And in our spirit, it helps the rye come out even further than it already does. Like in our white whiskey, you don't get a whole lot of rye. And that's, in my opinion, because it was distilled properly. Well, see,
I can hug her. Can I hug her when I go there?
Yeah.
But once it mingles with the barrel, that rye band, that rye spice really hits you across the tongue. So, yeah, it's a big difference.
Fairy mules have amnesty. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
We believe in mules.
Yeah.
Yes.
They make everything a whole lot better.
Yes.
Whiskey
mules.
And Dave is upset about Illinois and their liquor laws. I do feel bad for you guys.
I know. We're not in Illinois, and I don't think we're in Indiana either, and I'm very sorry. You can write to your local governor. You can leave severed pig heads, on the governor's front lawn and tell them to stop with their busted-ass liquor laws. I highly encourage it.
slide a horse's head into their bed at night.
That's what, yeah. Go old school. Yeah.
Like Governor Bing Bong sleeps with the fishes. Like I don't know.
Have the decency to roast the pig before you do it. Man.
Governor of Illinois is. All right, I'm really sorry about the law. That's really dumb. Y'all didn't know I was funny, did you?
Before we started, I'm just happy we got through through most of the interview so far.
Get my chorus in here.
Need some dramatic lighting on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. I have like 4 candles around me because we were filling out paperwork, filling my so soon. Oh,
maybe.
Well, way to go, Andrew.
Yeah, doing extra work. No one wants to do that.
I don't know how to do it.
So besides the Franken Whiskey in October, what are some of your releases you have coming up for people to be excited about or you want them to know about?
Yeah, so the Franken Whiskey comes out in October, and before that, around Valentine's Day, I thought like, ooh, what if I made a pink gin? And I'm still thinking about doing something like that, but I want to grow my own botanicals for it. I think I'm the only other person in the world besides Alan Bishop who has his recipe for his amethyst absinthe. He gave that to me.
I think that's accurate. I'm just going to say, I know that's 100% accurate.
No, we were on the phone, and I was like, I would like cut my hand right now, and like no one's ever getting that. It's like hidden in a wall in the house because I'm about this shit for real. So I'm going to work on some colored spirits and more eau de vies and grappas and stuff because I'm really interested just in working with the local plants around here. And I grow a whole lot of apothecary herbs and medicinal herbs. That's another thing that kind of got me into distilling is that for years I made herbal tinctures for my friends for anything from like anxiety to sleeplessness to menstrual cramps to allergies. I made it all. And so I grow a whole lot of herbs. That's another thing I did today was put a lot of those into the ground and, into starters for little plants and stuff. And so I want to grow a whole lot of my own botanicals for those processes so that they can be wholly local. I don't want to have to source anything. So this summer, you should probably look out for something weird. As long as Andrew's probably like, what are you talking about? We'll get there, buddy. Like you'll try and you'll probably like it. So as long as everybody gets the go ahead and as long as I have approval from all my other coworkers and we all agree, I will probably have some sort of limited edition, like colored spirit, likely distilled from plants and fruit in the local area this summer.
That's
I
awesome.
don't know yet. I've got a
Very
few
cool.
things on. Got a few things on lock. Maybe a dupe of the ginger brandy or a papa grappa would be cool. A papa grappa.
Andrew's like, what is concerned? He's like, what are you talking about? You're not. Did we just get you in trouble? You're not supposed to be discussing anything.
What are you talking about? I'm always bringing in weird shit that I make.
Hey,
That's great though.
I'm intrigued that with all the herbal stuff, and you said you work at absinthe. Were you thinking? I don't know. There's other things like I was just recently looking at like chartreuse and other stuff where some of the liquor was actually more herbal, homeopathic, like actually meant to be good for you rather than just get you buzzed up.
Yeah.
I like where you're headed with some of your stuff. Do you think you're gonna kind of? I like if you kind of stay in that lane because it's stuff a lot of people are not touching on enough, and they create some really unique whiskeys or whatever it is. I don't care. Whatever drink it is, I'm happy. Whatever flavor I drink it and I'm happy. But is there any of them that you're actually like looking forward to produce in the future? Like even though, like you said, you're trying to put some of the florals and aromatics in the ground now,
Well,
years down the road. But sorry.
I've been wanting to do a whole lot with lemon balm. Lemon balm is really helpful for all sorts of conditions, and it's especially helpful if you have trouble sleeping at night. And I think that it would make a really good digestif. And so right now, I have lemon balm coming up right now outside the trailer that I live in. I planted it a couple of years ago, and so it comes back every year with more and more gusto. So this year I would like to do some sort of neutral grain spirit that's infused with lemon balm. I think they call them gasts in distillation, where you've just got like a neutral grain spirit that's run through one herb or one fruit. So I'd like to do sort of not a liqueur, but a lemon balm infused spirit. I love lemon balm. I put it in my tea like every night. I've got some dehydrated up here in the trailer. It's hanging from the rafters of my witch cabin. So I'm looking forward to that. And then there's a couple more herbs that I want to work with, but I won't release that information yet because apparently Andrew doesn't know what I'm talking about.
So I'm curious about
What are you gonna do?
I'm curious about your lemon infused one because last year I got hip to a lemon ginger liqueur that when you drink it ice cold, it drinks like lemonade.
Really?
And it's a lot of fun.
I saw that on sale again here recently.
Oh my God.
tempted
I went through
get some for the
way
summer.
too much of it. I've got one bottle left of it, but
I'm also making a nocino, but that's more for like R&D purposes as well. Because I've got a walnut tree out here in my yard.
yeah.
Mm.
And so last year I made a nocino, but I waited a little too long. So this year, like every day I go out and I'm like, where are the walnut babies? Because you have to use the really young black walnut.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here I waited a little too long. So every day I go out and I'm like, how big are you? Are you ready? Are you ready to come and potty with a mason jar? So I'm gonna make a nocino. I'm working on all sorts of weird stuff.
That's neat.
Persimmons?
Hmm?
Persimmons?
I don't
Maybe
have any
wild
persimmons,
persimmons?
but I would let. Do you have a persimmon hookup?
Not very good. Random wild trees around the farm, but
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would love to work with persimmons too. Just really, I just like to play, and I'm lucky that I work at a place where I get like the room to sort of play and expand and just make weird shit. And
we're down for the weirdness. We love that stuff on the show. So
yeah, the nocino you just mentioned, I actually have to send some of that out to Mike and Ben because I ran into a guy who imports it from Serbia, and so we have some of that to take a look at in a little bit.
You can't send it to us when we're all together. We can hand it to each other.
That's true. Yeah.
Because I have some
can have a handoff.
I have some nocino finished bourbon that I could also hand off to you. Like.
Do you think I care about the
that.
law? I'm sorry.
I can export it like from my backyard. It's just like, hey, this is from Kelly's backyard. It's set in a jar in her cabinet for 4 months.
there's a law don't go right here, law dog.
Yeah, the nocino should be done by fall. I'm gonna let it kind of sit and rest and get a good color, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, so Kelly is involved with all sorts of extra unique distilling things, not just the bourbon and everything and the malt, which I'm going to be honest, I am excited about that whenever that happens. You'll see me or an emissary at the door when that goes down. Can send someone to pick things up.
On behalf of the RZA.
That's right.
Oh. Hey, so, okay, can you name all 9 members of the Wu-Tang Clan?
I'm not going to be able to do it, and also I would feel like I'm cheating because I was going to I pulled up the list of names to like change my names we were going just now. Hey, I'm doing 2 or 3 other things at once. I get to do that every now and then. I can cheat.
Can any of you name all 9 members of the Wu-Tang Clan?
Not all
9 members.
I'm not going to be able to do it now. Now you're just going to bug me, and I feel like an ass.
You fucking posers.
Method Man, Red Man, the resident.
I can't. No, Red
old
Man
dirty
was,
bastard.
No, Red Man was not in Wu-Tang Clan.
All right. Well, then we're just going to let you go now. We're going to take the education.
Yeah, do it.
Hold on.
Oh yeah.
It's,
Big screen. Big screen.
I am. If I can grab her screen. Yes, we're going to.
There you go. Got to get that Coors Light up in there
you're
too.
going to name all 9 members of the Wu-Tang Clan?
Now I want you to. You challenged us. We failed.
The Jizza, the Ghostface Killer, Inspector Deck, Master Killer, Method Man, Raekwon, You God, ODB, fuck you.
Well,
Well done. All hell the queen.
He produced a lot. So did Inspector Dick. I love it.
Oh,
Sorry,
see,
I
just
didn't mean
because of that,
so mean.
Patrick messed y'all up because now if you try to point, everything you
Yeah.
learned before is all off.
I did that on purpose. That was for challenging them.
Why can't I do this? Okay.
All right. We've had you on here for an hour and a half, and we understand that you probably have a very busy life going on, and that you have to get up at the ass crack of dawn tomorrow, because most distillers do. So we appreciate you coming on and sharing some of your whiskey and some of your stories. It is a really unique flavor. So if you do get a chance to get out there, definitely pick some up and give it a try, because this is some really, really fun stuff that has a different flavor profile than some of the other bourbons and whiskeys, even in craft. So it is really fun.
Thank you so much.
Hey, that's not a problem. Now I gotta go through like 2 seconds of some stuff coming up. Like,
Hey, are we going to give away the old crow?
oh shit, we gotta go. Oh Christ,
Andrew, they're giving away the old. Hold on,
we have to give away the old crow. Okay, now I gotta go back to the comments. All right, people in the chat that I've gone back a little bit. I can see like 10, 12 of you, but anyone who wants a chance to win some 1972 Old Crow, say hi in the chat. Put a hand up. Hell, you can even give me a finger as an emoji. I don't give a shit. Start putting some up, and we will draw a name on that in a second. Before we do with the 1970s Old Crow, I have to tell you about this Friday, if you don't know already, 7 o'clock with Heather Manley from Crooked Water Spirits. We're going to be tasting 5 different spirits and making 2 cocktails, and we might even taste 1 or 2 other things that she has coming up this summer. So stop in for that. It's going to be a big evening. That's why we're starting at 7, because she challenged, when I asked her what time to start, she said, how about noon? And I said, no. I said, that's not happening, because she would go that route. And then on Monday coming up, we have Scott Blackwell from Highwire. Next Monday, stop in for that. We're going to be talking about that. What the heck's going on here? Did you... Who just linked someone? I see someone else popped in the chat.
I don't know how to do anything. Anything.
The bishop of.
Oh, he can wait. He gave me shit about a Cosby sweater. He can wait. He's the one who gave me shit about a Cosby sweater. He can hold on for a second.
I want to throw out real quick. This past Saturday, I got to record with my whiskey Whiskey Congress with Jim, and they have a great podcast. We get to discuss kind of current events and political and sports and everything else. So I had a great conversation that posted on Sunday. So go check them out, subscribe and follow. You're going to get challenged. You're going to have some good laughs, and great bunch of guys, and always enjoy getting to chat with them. So.
And it's actually a discussion about things where we're kind of just whiskey and half-assed nonsense, which is kind of nice and is missed in a lot of, I don't know, the bigger grand scheme of things. Siri, pick a number between 1 and 24.
The answer is 24.
Holy shit, it is the last person who said something there. And the one on that one was... It was a Neil Robinson when I called it, because everyone else had on there.
Neil.
Neil, I'm sorry we don't.
Congrats, Neil.
Yeah, Neil. Send us, if you check our link down below, you'll see our email addresses. Email us over the address so we can take care of that for you. Or I'll try to get a hold of you. And that way, for when we do the show, you can have a section of the 1972 Old Crow, and you can carry it over. So thank you, Kelley, for stopping in. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for stopping in with us and hanging out tonight. We really appreciate you doing that. Oh, next Monday when we get done the Scott stream, we're so stupidly busy with stuff, which is fantastic. we're going to be over on Whiskey Crusaders next Monday night when we get done here. We're going to be hopping right over to their stream when we're done. Ben might even escape a little bit early. We're going to be talking about some of the barrel stuff that he did about a year ago and sent them, which is okay because we understand a tray of samples on your table and not getting to them because we get that completely. So, but I don't know. And thank you, Kelley, so much for stopping in. We really appreciate it. It was a ton of fun having you on. And as you're coming out with any new or unique stuff, let us know. We would love to taste it, try it, let people know about it because this is some really fun whiskey to try.
Thank you.
All right. Yep. Well, remember, everyone, it's not the size of the den that matters. It's the love of whiskey. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3.